Welcome back to the shop. I have another update finally on the Mitchell. All right, so the B-25 Mitchell took a back burner for a while I finished up the Saab, and I've been working on, obviously, the Dubro giveaway builds. Haven't been working on the Falcon just because I've needed to focus on getting the Saab ready to go. But I have taken some time over the last couple of days to get progress on the Mitchell. So let's go over what I've been doing. So the first thing you'll notice is that I have a whole bunch of parts ready to go here. And these parts are actually parts you've not seen before because I completely stripped down the other wing. The wing was all sorts of fun stripping down with hairdryer, heat gun, you name it, all that stuff. Had some spackle spots, as you can see. The end green of the balsa was pretty rough, so I put some spackle in there as well. And the aileron, since ailerons were fabric covered on the Mitchell, I went ahead and covered this as well. So that's ready to go, easy peasy. And I also went ahead and glassed these flaps. So the flaps were metal. So went ahead and glassed these, and then this piece of wood, I kind of broke it, but I broke it on purpose. So the flaps, in order to remove them, you had to remove this block of balsa. So once I reinstall the flaps before paint, I will then glue this back on, and then I will glass this and fill the weave as well. So that leads me to this piece. This is the fiberglass fairing that goes on the top of the wing. And the fiberglass was fine. It was in fine shape. It was pretty easy to pull off the plane. Just add some heat with the heat gun, and it softens up the epoxy as well as the fiberglass, and you can get a knife under there and pry it up. From there, I had some screw holes that I wanted to fill, just a little bit of spot putty, automotive spot putty. Fills those holes pretty easily. That's why there's a blob of it on the back side to support the button that's on the top side. From there, I went ahead and I sanded it down. There's a little bit more sanding that I need to do. As you can see, there's a pattern of the fiberglass that's still showing. And the reason I sanded it back was because of this. The fiberglass just, it needed a little bit more finish work to make it nice and smooth. So that's what I'm doing there. Now, the sequence of events is get the wings all, well, let's move on to the wing and then we'll move on to the sequence. Sometimes I just get ahead of myself. I apologize. But moving on to the wing. So the wing is, as you can see here on the table, and you can see that there were some gouges that I filled with some spackle, and you can see a little bit of residue left from the epoxy. I wasn't able to remove all of the epoxy, but that's okay because we got a plan. So the whole wing was sanded down and, you know, filled with spackle where things were needing to be filled. And then I went ahead and glassed the whole wing. Everything has been glassed at this point, and I even glassed, you know, the flaps. So that's all ready to go. And then after that, I sanded down the glass just to rough it up. And then I installed these oil coolers. So these were on the model before, but they had a whole lot of plastic overlay across the top and the bottom. And I thought I want to fair these in a little bit more. So I glued them in with some CA, and then I used some spackle to blend them in. And then after that, I went ahead and I've done my fill coat with my microballoons and water-based polyurethane. I've done both wings and the flaps for each section. So the order from here is I need to sand everything and prep for paint. Once it's prepped for paint, I will then reinstall the flaps. I will then reinstall the block, the balsa block that goes right here. I will glue that back in place, right? And then I will fiberglass over top of this and then blend it in here, fill the weave, etc. And then from there, I can reinstall the top fairing. All right. So then once the top fairing is glued in, then I can do the same treatment with the spackle to blend, and then we'll be finally ready to have the whole surface shot with paint. Okay, so that's the rundown. That's the assembly. I also took time to sand down the nacelles and prep the nacelles. The nacelles have been masked off. They're ready for paint. Yeah, they're ready to go. So we just got to shoot some gray on the bottom of them, and then I can mask them off for the green. So it's just two colors I'm going with. Yeah, so the dark, it's a kind of a darkest gray. It's like a smoke gray. But yeah, pretty straightforward, easy paint. Shouldn't take long to do. But yeah, that's really where we're at. So I haven't bored you with a lot of time lapse on this because it's sanding, but I do need to mention that in the last video on the Mitchell, that someone made a comment, when you're sanding this stuff, you really should be using some kind of respirator. And that's true. I didn't because I got into a hurry. I'm human, please forgive me. But definitely should not be routinely, regularly inhaling some of this stuff. It's not good for you. It's not. So I do have a couple of masks in the shop. I have one of my leftover fabric ones from the pandemic that I keep around just for the quick pinch stuff to hopefully alleviate that, oh, I'm in a hurry. But I also have my painting mask that I can throw on. It is it's got a P100 filter, okay? P100 means it will filter out viruses, okay? So that's why I use it in the paint booth. All right, so public service announcement over. Use safety equipment. End of story. So I hope to have this done in about a month. The goal is to try to get it to SEFF, and I've got a week where I'm going to be out of town for work. So we'll see. All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're heading over to dubro.com and picking up all the stuff you need for your builds. We got flying season coming up, so any last minute purchases, go ahead and use that code Josh10 in checkout so that you can get a little bit of discount on your goodies that you buy there. So keep going, guys. Keep working on those flying works of art.